I'm just gonna click on this video link.
Never gonna give you up, never gonna let you down.
What's going on, y'all? Thank y'all so much for being here. I'm always thankful for anyone to tap in, you feel me? Because like, yeah, this is my dream to speak, and not just to be listened to or to be heard, but it's just for me to do what I love, and this is truly what I love to do. And I hope I can make it a career, you feel me? God, please. Nevertheless, I truly hope that everybody's doing well. It's getting hella cold out here. So y'all know what time it is. It's time to take out those winter blankets that we keep on the top shelf.
Can I have another blanket, please?
Yes. I just want to say, again, thank y'all so much for being here, and let's move on to what I'm gonna talk about today.
Let's do this.
So y'all know I hate Israel. Not the Israeli people, not the Jewish people living in Israel, but the illegal occupiers of Palestine, the people who consider themselves Zionists and whatnot. I just want to say, this is not to spread hatred against the Jewish people nor the religion of Judaism. I am specifically focusing my attention on the Zionist supremacists, the extremists, the terrorists, the people who can just go anywhere they want and just brutalize people and just commit war crimes after war crimes and not get even a slap on the wrist, you feel me?
Slap on the wrist, he says.
So the fact that the United States of America gives Israel billions and billions of dollars to continue their genocide and their atrocities against the Palestinian people honestly leaves me speechless.
Just let them be.
But we all know that this is the reality that we live in now.
Sure is.
But that money that we give to Israel is also killing Americans, UN workers, other nationalists, like people who come from all over the world to support the Palestinian people are also being killed by Israel. And what's going on? Israel is not being held accountable.
They need to be eliminated.
The media may show some of their crimes. However, no one's ever held accountable. There's literally American people being shot down, ran over by bulldozers, being crushed to death, and they continue to do what they do. So yeah, also wanted to include that.
Noted.
So this brings us to today's topic, the deaths of two Americans, one in 2003 and one this month that happened about a week or 2 weeks ago. So the one that happened in 2003 was an activist, an American activist by the name of Corrie, who was killed by an Israeli bulldozer. And the other American citizen who was killed, her name was Aysenur Ezgi, who was shot in the head by an Israeli army for standing up for the Palestinian rights that were being repeatedly violated by the illegal occupiers.
Niles, where is the justice?
So this video is kind of meant as a memorial for them whose lives were stolen by a nation that the United States of America keeps supplying with billions and billions of dollars, and with the security that we provide them. So just want to say rest in peace to both of their souls, and let's get straight to the video. Before I click play on the video, I just want to say Viva la Mexico.
Viva Los Mexico.
It is Independence Day for Mexico, so shout out to all my Mexicanos and all my Mexicanas.
Mexico.
And the White House says it's deeply disturbed by news that an American-Turkish woman has been shot dead, apparently by Israeli troops in the West Bank.
That's probably why they didn't care, because I think Turkish people are still considered Arab. They're still considered as like that one group, you feel me? If you come from Iraq, from Syria, Yemen, Saudi Arabia, it don't matter. As long as you're Arab, like Israel does not give a fuck. Like, and it's like, excuse my language, but like I'm so serious. Like if you're Arab and you get killed by Israel, like good luck. You're not gonna get any justice. You know what I mean? Because like, yeah, we're hated by Israel, and we're just hated by, you know, the West, because we are considered, you know, a threat. Feel me? But some people are gonna be like, damn, bro, you're always trying to play victim.
That's a victim card.
But like, if you guys look at it for the past, what, 20 years, just look at how many Arabs and Muslims have been killed. And there's gonna be people who say, yeah, Arabs back then, they killed, they slaughtered.
We all need to be better to each other.
Like I said, a podcast or 2 podcasts ago, there's bad apples of every group. But just because there's that one bad apple doesn't mean that you have to look at everybody else as a threat, or look at everybody else as somebody who deserves to get shot in the head, like this lady right here. Really unfortunate.
She was taking part in a protest against Jewish settlements. Aysenur Eygi, who was 26, was shot in the head. Israel says its troops opened fire on an instigator of violent activity. Well, the West Bank has been occupied by Israel for decades and is home to around 3 million Palestinians who want the territory to be part of a future independent state. But 500,000 Jewish settlers have moved there and seized land, which is
illegal occupiers.
That's illegal. That's illegal.
So like, there's just a lot of people who don't understand why Palestinians hate the Jewish people, or not even the Jewish people, but the illegal occupiers. Like I said, Arabs and Jews lived together for thousands of years. I don't know how many years, maybe thousands is too much, but there was a long period of time where Jews and Arabs, they came together. They supported one another. They lived among one another. But, you know, as the Zionist state was created in the 1950s, I forgot what exactly year it was, but when the Zionist state was created, this is what was happening. Thousands and thousands of Jewish settlers will come and just take away parts of their land that was theirs, that their families lived for generations and generations. So again, there's a lot of people to this day who don't understand why Palestinians have feelings, negative feelings toward Jewish people.
Negative, negative, negative.
Because their state allows 500,000 settlers just to come from all around the world to come to their land and just take whatever they want and to move into their houses, literally kick them out and take everything that belongs to them.
Illegal under international law. The shooting came as Israeli forces withdrew from parts of the West Bank after a major 9-day military operation targeting armed Palestinian militias. Israel said it was aimed at stopping what it calls terror attacks by Iran-backed groups. Lucy Williamson reports now from the West Bank.
They broke Jenin's roads, far harder to break its resilience. After 9 days of military incursion, residents reclaimed their streets before they'd even been rebuilt.
That's so petty. Like, imagine 3 million Palestinians, you know, a lot of foot traffic, a lot of cars, and this is what you do to their roads. Like, how can they get to where they need to go? How can they make it to the hospital? Like, what if it's an emergency and literally a person is bleeding out and they can't even drive because look what you guys did to the roads? So it's just like, damn, fucked up.
For over a week, Jenin hunkered down to the sounds of war. Its refugee camp, the heart of Israel's sweep across the northern West Bank to battle armed Palestinian groups. Residents emerged today to find lives and landscapes altered. 10 days ago, this was Khaled's home. Where do you even begin? His flat blown apart when the army exploded a cave under the mosque next door.
Just also think about all your hard work that you put in, years and years and dedication into your career, you know, buying all your furniture. And just imagine all the memories, like all the pictures, the videos, you know, things that resemble, you know, where you come from, and everything just gets blown into pieces. And you're just rambling through everything like this, like these people are doing, trying to find things that are valuable to them. And the unfortunate reality is a lot of times they're not looking for valuables, they're looking for their loved ones under all this rubble. So this is just the daily life of people who live in Palestine.
A weapons store, the army said. An empty cave for wastewater, said Khaled.
It feels like we are starting our lives all over again. This house was all we had. We didn't expect the whole house to be destroyed. We hoped to at least find one room to live in. But now, we don't know where to go.
Israel said its target in this operation was the armed Palestinian groups based here. But its methods are what are raising alarm. Not just the civilians killed and injured, but the levels of destruction that are wrecking lives. We met Mustafa in his daughter's flat upstairs, still battling his own feelings as he soothed hers and his granddaughters. They fled the camp days before under heavy fire, he said, and that 2 of those who fled with them were shot and injured.
Just really sad, and like it just hits you differently when you actually see them like within their homes trying to continue with their lives and move along and stuff like that. Because if you guys think about it, if this was happening in any other place such as America, or you know, just any other place that has more human rights, there would be so much more outrage, right? There would be so much more people like showing up and like trying to help them rebuild. But look at these people, they're like, all they have is themselves. They don't have any government assistance. They don't have any, you know, court systems or lawyers that can come and bring justice with what has been done to them. So again, you're just witnessing people just being targeted for being Palestinian, or just being targeted because they're supposedly Hamas or militant groups close by to you. So yeah, you are going to be collateral damage. So it's just really unfortunate again.
There were people carrying white flags, but they were far away from us. I don't know if it was intentional or by mistake. It was impossible to tell where it was coming from. Explosions, drones, shooting.
We asked the Israeli army tonight about this account and are waiting for their response. Of the 21 people killed in this operation, around a third were civilians. But it's the men known here as martyrs who are pasted up on the walls, fresh faces amid old bullet holes. The dead were released back to the streets today too. Bodies carried from hospital morgues to burial in the cemetery next to the camp. Among them, Mohammed Zubaydi, an armed fighter. 2 cousins and a grandmother killed before him. His father, once the local leader of Al-Aqsa Martyrs brigades, now in an Israeli prison. A family of wanted men, eliminated one by one. Operations here end. The conflict never has. People are afraid Israel's army will arrest them or destroy their homes, one young fighter told me today. But so what? When you see them kill your brother, how do you live with yourself, sitting and watching it all? Lucy Williamson, BBC News, Jenin.
So yeah, American citizen was shot in the head because she was there trying to support these Palestinian people who are being killed, who are being taken away from their homes, whose roads are being destroyed, whose hospitals are being demolished. So again, very unfortunate, and just want to say rest in peace to her soul. So this is the last video of the woman, the American citizen who was killed by an Israeli bulldozer for, again, supporting the Palestinian people. But this was back in 2003.
A 23-year-old American activist was crushed by an Israeli military bulldozer in Gaza. How, despite numerous eyewitness testimonies, the Israeli military ruled her death an accident. And how, now almost 20 years later, her parents are still seeking justice. This is a story of Rachel Corrie. At midday on 16th of March 2003, the phone started ringing at the home of Cindy and Craig Corrie in Charlotte, North Carolina. Whilst her husband was busy with the laundry, Cindy picked up the phone, unaware of how life-changing the next few words would be. It's Rachel. Cindy had just been told that her 23-year-old daughter, her youngest, had been crushed to death under an Israeli military bulldozer.
Let's just look at this picture. That's her right there after she was crushed by an Israeli bulldozer. Let's not forget how much a bulldozer weighs. Thousands of pounds. I don't know. Let me actually search it up, to be honest. A small bulldozer typically weighs less than 30,000 pounds. 30,000 pounds just on top of you. Imagine how much she weighs. She's probably like 150, 140 pounds. No more, no less. Imagine. For what? Just for trying to support, again, the Palestinian people who have been oppressed for who knows how long.
While trying to prevent the demolition of a Palestinian home in Rafah, Gaza.
They rounded up about 150 men, held them under a sniper tower, and shot around them to contain the men, the farmers in the area. What I'm witnessing here is a very systematic destruction of people's ability to survive, and that is incredibly horrifying.
Carrying a loudspeaker and wearing an orange fluorescent jacket, American activist Rachel Corrie headed for a protest against demolition of Palestinian houses in Rafah refugee camp. It was nearly 3 years into the Second Intifada, a Palestinian uprising against Israeli occupation. Rachel had been in Gaza for 2 months after becoming involved with the International Solidarity Movement, or ISM, a Palestinian-led group of international activists dedicated to protesting against Israeli human rights abuses. In Rafah, Rachel stood in front of the home of the Nasrallah family and knelt to her knees 20 meters ahead of a Caterpillar D9R armored bulldozer. Now, this was quite common practice during protests. The young activist was attempting to disrupt the Israeli military's demolitions, an operation deemed by human rights groups as collective punishment of Palestinians. According to eyewitnesses, as the bulldozer got closer, it pushed a mound of earth in front of its blade. The heat began to overtake Corrie, so she stood up to climb the mountain soil. Rachel's fellow activists screamed for the driver, an Israeli soldier, to stop, but the driver continued and ran over the American student twice.
Yeah, we'd been out there for several hours on March 16th of 2003. For weeks we'd been doing this, blocking these bulldozers with our bodies. And on this day in particular, we've been out there for about 2.5 hours, blocking these same 2 bulldozers over and over again. And eventually, just one of the drivers apparently got tired of stopping and very intentionally drove over Rachel, crushed her to death.
So these are the people who we consider the most moral army in the world, by the way. Well, this is America considering them the most moral army in the world. Just imagine. But they just run over people with the bulldozer just because they're trying to stop them from bulldozing Palestinian homes. So it's just like, damn, it's crazy.
I was sitting about 30 feet away blocking another bulldozer at the time and watched it run over her and then back off of her again.
Rachel died soon after being taken to Rafah Hospital from suffocation.
The most moral army in the world is killing American citizens. Citizens who belong to America, who are supporting Israel, who are giving Israel these weapons and giving them all this fuel to continue what they're doing.